Right guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you the progress I've made on my first boss scene. It started off as a procedurally animated spider prototype which looked like this, and now I've actually created the meshes and textures for it and a plethora of other things. By the way, I will admit I underestimated the amount of thought and effort that needs to be invested into building a boss fight scene in a game like this. I mean, a boss is just a bigger enemy with a bigger gun that's harder to kill, right? That's what I thought. Well, it turns out there's much more than that. It's things like how and when to activate the boss and what purpose it serves. What are the movement patterns, AI, how to kill it, what happens after you've killed it. And there's a lot of components to design. So in this video, I will introduce you to my spider demon boss. His name is Twins. Hopefully you can see why. So Twins, internet Twins. And I'm going to show you a playthrough of a scene where I fight this guy and hopefully defeat him. And after that I'll break down the scene and the boss himself and explain how it all works. By no means is it a finished scene, but at least I think I've got the core mechanics to a satisfactory level. So without further ado, let's run the scene and let's see what's up. Okay, so I'm spawned on this random rock here and I'm going to head that way because I know that Twins is somewhere there, because that's where I put him. Did you guys hear that? That was a warning hiss. It plays when I'm close to the spider. So he's now smelled an intruder and is awaiting my approach, so let's approach. Now you may have noticed how the fog has become more dense all of a sudden. That's intentional too. It's to make the fight a little harder. Okay, there he is. Can you see him? And he's going to go at me straight away. Hello Twins. How you, mate? Did you guys see that flicker? That's a bug in GPU particles. I'm recording this in Godot Alpha because Beta 1 is unusable for projects with particles. Right, so I know I have to aim for the eyes, especially the biggest eye, because that's what causes the most damage. Otherwise we'd be here all day. I just need a taste in my mind starts feeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on healing. Got nothing for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Okay dude, I'm making a video. Could you die already, please? Thank you. And now we can do some post-mortem shooting. The head's a rigid body, so it responds to bullet impact. And I can defile the corpse a little bit. I don't have to do that, but it's kind of satisfying. Anyway, but yeah, we're done here. So let's go back to the editor and I'll break it down for you. Okay, this is the spider scene file. The root node is the node that moves and turns towards the player using smooth interpolation. The legs are animated procedurally using the IK technique for Unity that can be found on YouTube. I'll post a link in the description. A lot of people ask me for a tutorial, but I don't see a point in doing that, honestly, given that there already is a fantastic tutorial explaining how to build a procedural leg IK. It's for Unity, yeah, but it's easy enough to translate to GD script, so go ahead and watch that. Highly recommend it. And of course, you only need one leg, and then just duplicate it as many times as you want. So you could build any kind of creepy crawler with this method. Now, the height corrector is the node that keeps the spider on the ground or close to the ground. See, the spider is not using navigation at all. It just interpolates the global transform of the root node with a target position on the map, which is usually the player's position. So in order to keep the spider grounded, I'm using a rig of raycasts, center, front, back, left and right. And the height of this height corrector node is set to interpolate with the average length of these 5 raycasts, and this allows me to accommodate the unevenness of the ground underneath. The central raycast also reads the normal of the surface underneath the spider, and the height corrector node follows that rotation to a certain degree. So the spider is somewhat horizontally, aligned with the shape of the ground underneath. Then there is the animation root node, which I use in animations. I created a few animations for this guy and linked them in an animation tree. So you'll see if I activate the tree, it loops an idle animation, and I have several one-shot animations that play when the spider gets hit or dies and so on. Then there is the body node, and this one is responsible for the shooting and sound effects. The spider will only fire at me if it can see me. I'm using the dot product method to determine whether or not he can see me. I don't know if you could see it, but the chain gun actually rotates when Twins is shooting, and the rotation eases out after each round, and there's a random interval between the rounds. There are no bullets. I thought they weren't needed in this case. He has a fast shooting gun, so instead of bullets I used bullet trails on random shots. These trails are just elongated plane meshes which spawn at the barrel and look at the collision point of the gun's raycast, and then they fade out very quickly. I noticed Fortnite do it, so I thought I'd copy this approach. I think it works quite well, and also saves me having to, render lots of projectiles unnecessarily. The body node has several area nodes attached to it, which allows me to differentiate the amount of damage caused by player bullets depending on where the bullet hits. This is what I said before. If I hit the head area, I'll take away more HP. If I hit the eye area, I'll cause even more damage. So in this way I can add different vulnerability points around him, which makes the fight more interesting. Now clearly Twins is a creepy baby doll mounted on a giant spider, if you haven't noticed. The head is a rigid body that is in freeze mode. Just like with a real baby doll, the head only rotates left or right, and it always rotates towards the player, but only on the local y-axis. The torso also rotates towards the player, but it does so on all three axes, slower and only when the spider can see the player. So these various independent rotations give the movement more realism, in my opinion. I'm actually quite pleased with how this came out. When you kill the spider, the head gets unfrozen and an upward impulse is applied to it, which makes it come off into the air, and then it plays a hit sound each time it hits the ground when it falls. I'm using a contact monitor to detect collisions, and I play a random hit sound each time there's a contact. Okay, now how do you activate the beast? Well, the first thing is the warning hiss that the spider gives off when the player is within a certain distance. That is a signal to the player that, well, shit is about to go down, right? So if you don't have enough ammunition on you, for example, you should probably retreat. The actual engagement starts when the player enters a certain perimeter. That's when the spider's movement and attack mechanisms are activated. So there's an area node that is set as top level, and when I enter the area, the spider launches its attack, and when I exit the perimeter, the spider returns to its home base. Because the thing is, I want to use these bosses for a purpose that goes beyond just a regular shootout. I want them to be guarding something, like an important artifact or a portal or something like that. So I don't want them to, to chase the player all around the map. They need to operate within a certain perimeter only, so that's why. And in addition to that, if I shoot and hit the spider from outside the perimeter, it will trigger the same activation function as when entering the area. So that's about it for now. Like I said before, I'm not done yet with this scene. I still need to figure out how to handle ammunition, for example. Because right now, if you haven't noticed, I have inexhaustible ammo. So the whole fight is about, can I dodge enough bullets to take him down before my health expires? That's not good enough. I'm thinking of adding a crate of ammo on his rear, so when you hit a weak point and he jerks and twists and twitches, a few ammo clips would fall out of that crate and fall on the ground, and then you can run and grab them, kind of thing. That's just an idea for now. I haven't tested it yet. Anyway, this is Twins. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. Follow me on Twitter for more regular updates. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.